This is Digitalis stewartii, a perennial foxglove. It's new to me this year. Well, I say this year. It's new to me over the last 2 years. Bought it a couple of years ago, planted it into the garden. It remained as a small rosette with a lovely evergreen leaf throughout the autumn and winter. The winter didn't affect it at all. It's bone hardy. It'll do well in all of England, really. It's said to be new to cultivation, and I, for one, have not come across it before. And I'm just blown away by it, to be honest. So if you have a border that you want to make a little bit more interesting, and you usually have the ordinary foxgloves, the purpurea, and try and search this one out. I know there are some nice Digitalis out there, the Camelot series and all them types of Digitalis, but I'm always looking for something a little bit more unusual. Now this is, I would say, if anybody's ever had Digitalis ferruginea, this is like definitely the bigger brother. Ferruginea only makes about 3 or 4 foot and is short-lived, or if not annual, depending where you are in the country. But this one is definitely perennial, come back every year. I suspect it will die back into its clump and it will come back next year with loads more spires. It is described as having tall spiky spires which should reach 5 foot. Now this year this one has made 6.5 in this border, and I suspect that's down to the weather we're having. We're in the middle of we're in a bit of an heat wave. And it's we've had some good weather this year, so it's made it to this size. It's great, and I think if you can find this one out, you should do so. I describe its colours as sort of a golden yellow, a gold suffused with yellow, really. Now, unfortunately, on here, I'm not able to focus. Oh, there we go. We are able to focus in. Focusing on that particular flower itself, and look at the colour of that. It's just amazing. Now, up to actually coming to record this, there was a bumblebee all over it. It produces hundreds of flowers up its stem, and they all seem to be coming out pretty much at the same time, so they're opening up fairly quickly. I'm looking to get lots of seedlings off, or lots of seeds off this, and it will produce seedlings, I would suspect, as well. Now, I will be collecting these. I will be putting them all over the garden. It's impressed me that much. Decision I may come to regret, because I don't know what it's like for self-seeding all over the place. But time will tell on that one. And I won't be too bothered if it does self-seed all over, because what better one could you want? And there's what I've just said about the bees. There's a bee on it. I'll try and focus in for you. A little bit too blowy for it to want to focus in, but you can see there's a bee on there floating around. The bees love them, they pollinate, so it's good for pollinators. This particular spire here, or flower, is maybe 4.5 foot, whereas this one here is definitely 6.5 foot. We've had the tape out on that one and measured it, and that's how high it is. So it's quite impressive. It's impressed me. Like I said earlier, it's said to be new to cultivation, and as I said earlier as well, I have never had it before. But it's one definitely that you should have on your checklist, and one you should try and find out. So it prefers a bit of shade, really. It will do okay in sun, but it will do better in shade or semi-shade. Even better with a free draining soil. It don't want to be in soil that sits claggy and wet. It won't like that. Not a lot of plants like that, and this is no exception. So try and get it in some more free draining soil. If you don't have the free draining soil, if you're in heavy clay or something, just improve your soil. Easy enough to do. Just get some gravel into there and just improve it year on year, and maybe it'll do well for you as well. So it's doing well for me. I like it with my ornamental grasses. As you can see, there's some in the back there. That's Calamagrostis Waldenbush in the background here. And it looks well with those. But it looks pretty good anyway. This is a bit of a shady border I've put it in deliberately with the asters and the Bruneras, which that one is there. And it looks good with those. I'd like a little bit more action going on around it, but this is, as I've said before, these are quite new beds, so they're only 2 years old, so as the maturity kicks in on these borders, it should look even better. I am going to try it into some sunny areas next year, so I'll probably post again to say just how well it's done in those sunny areas. As you can see today, it's absolutely boiling hot. Well, you can't tell that from this video, obviously, but I can assure you this is the hottest day of the year so far. I just love it. I think it's worth having. I've been getting excited about it, showing its flower heads. I've posted it onto 1 or 2 of the sites abroad, and they've gone mad for it. So that proves to me that it's maybe not as well known as I thought it might be. But it is worth having. It's worth seeking out. So if you can find that one, look for it. It's worth getting. I keep saying it, Don. I keep repeating myself. That's because I'm excited over it. It's a good one. So that is Digitalis stewartii. Thanks for looking. Ta-da.